cost of living crisis is hitting harder than ever in the UK right now. Most people feel like they're on a treadmill, but they're just not going anywhere. They're trying hard, but their income comes in and it goes out to their expenses. And because of this, we have to be more intentional with our spending. We have to think more about where our money goes if we want to set ourselves up for financial success in the future. In this video, I'm going to go through 7 financial habits that you should avoid if you want to set yourself up to build wealth in the future. Whether that is putting a deposit down on a house, saving in your investment portfolio, building your pension, these tips will help you. Number 1 is consumer debt. Personally, I would avoid this at all costs. I think it's getting even worse now in 2023, coming into 2024. The average UK person who uses buy now, pay later has a £160 balance on it. To me, that is insane. If you can't afford to buy the clothes in cash, I've seen people do takeaways on buy now, pay later. If you can't afford to pay for these things up front, you simply just should not buy them. That is a good rule of thumb to go by, and it will serve you well to follow it. Getting into consumer debt is literally borrowing from your future self. If you simply instead save for the item that you want 2-3 months in advance of purchasing it, you can purchase it without any interest, and you're not paying other people to borrow their money. Even better than that, if you invest the money that you were going to save, you'll actually get paid interest from owning assets. And that is where real money is made. So completely avoid consumer debt at all costs. Credit cards are not good for most people. Yes, if you use a credit card correctly and collect points and pay it in full at the end of the month, that is completely fine. But if that's not you and you don't have that discipline, just don't have one and do not use buy now, pay later services. Number 2 is always having the latest thing. Maybe that's the latest iPhone, or for me, where I've seen this is at golf. Personally, I've had the same golf clubs for about 6 years and I've been able to get my handicap down from 20 to 12. But I see a ton of people who every week have the latest gear, have the best clubs. Every month they're changing their driver, and they've got no better at golf over the time that I have known them. But they're spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds on these things. And look, if you have the money and you want to do that, I think it's completely fine. But look, if you're doing that in your hobby or whatever it is you do, and you're buying all the latest gadgets when it's not really beneficial to you or providing you that much value, consider stopping it. For example, I realize that the value in golf for me is going and playing with my friends at the weekend. If you give me the best clubs in the world and I could have any club any weekend, but I had to play on my own, I'd rather play with the 6-year-old clubs. So it's realizing where the value is coming from in your hobbies and realizing it's not actually having the latest gear that is giving you the fun and enjoyment that you're having that allows you to just simply say, I'm not going to do that. I'll save that money instead. I'll invest it and I'll set myself up for my future. Number 3 is buying a new car. This is one where I have wasted a ton of money. However, over the past 4 years, I have significantly cut out any spending that I have on cars, and this has allowed me to massively increase my contributions to my portfolio, and I would say is one of the biggest factors that allowed me to get to a 6-figure portfolio by 26. Many people come straight out of uni, get a job, and buy that £200, £300, £400 a month car. If you simply delay that purchase, I'm not saying don't ever get it. If you delay it from 21, 22 to 26 to 27, you can go ahead and save that £300 a month, which is £3,600 per year. And that over 5 to 6 years is enough for a house deposit, outside of London anyway. That will put you in a good starter house, just by avoiding that one single purchase. Combine that with a few other things here, and you can set yourself up for a great financial future. Number 4 is designer clothes. This one blows my mind, some of the stuff I see people buying. For example, one of the most recent things I've seen and recent trends is Represent. I think it's a really cool brand. I actually love some of the interviews with the founder. They've built something amazing, but it's crazy to me that average people earning average salaries are buying £155 hoodies, £70 t-shirts for these clothes. And to me, they look like good quality clothing, but not worth the price that you're paying. If you're earning £2,000 per month after tax and you're spending £155 on a hoodie, that is insane to me. That's 7% of your monthly income on one single item. If you can avoid these purchases completely, and I'm not saying buy really cheap clothes, you can buy something that's middle of the range, that's high quality, that lasts a long time, but also isn't designer and costs you an arm and a leg. Maybe avoid the 10, £20 boohoo jumpers and go for something more middle of the range at £50 to £60, which is good quality, will last long and looks good. and save that difference there and just don't have the designer label. It really doesn't matter. Next up, we have smoking, drinking, and other vices you may have. I'm not one to judge. I like to go out. I was out this Saturday, and boy, does it cost a lot to go out these days. Going out, drinking, having a few beers is a huge part of UK culture, but it is extremely expensive. I'm not saying to cut it out completely, but if you can cut back from going out, maybe 8 nights a month to going out 4 nights a month, the amount of money you can save there is insane. Or for example, if you smoke and you just stop smoking, I know it's not easy, it's hard, but if you do stop that, and save £200 a month, that is insane. That is £2,400 per year over 6 years. Again, you're getting pretty close to a decent house deposit there just from stopping smoking. And another way I like to look at this is, if that person over there can find £200 a month to spend on cigarettes, and you just have both the same lifestyle other than that, how are they able to find £200 to smoke? If they can find £200 to smoke, you should be able to find £200 to invest. And in your 20s, if you invest £200 a month, that is enough to get you to £1 million portfolio before you retire. For 2 months there, I completely quit drinking, but I still went out with my friends and just drove. And the amount of money you save by driving is crazy as well, because 1, you don't have to pay for taxis, 2, you're not buying expensive drinks, and 3, you wake up the next morning feeling good, I can do some work, I can progress in my career while also going out and having fun. Number 6 is moving out of your parents' house too soon. Now, I know this isn't an option for everyone, but if it is an option for you, I really think that you should take it. I think that this is how our generation gets ahead. If you can stay at home from 21 to 26 after uni, or if you just leave school and get a job, you can do it much, much quicker. But if you can save a huge chunk of money in that time period, it can massively change the trajectory of your life. If you look at 2 people who leave uni at 21, both of them are going to earn £2,000 a month on average, let's say, for the next 5 years. If one goes, he starts renting an apartment with his friends, he buys a car, and he pretty much has nothing left for savings at the end of the month. The other person, he stays with his parents, he pays some housekeep, he buys a car in cash, and he invests about £800 per month. This person here is going to have about £65,000 in 5 years if he invested at a 7% rate. This person over here may get to 10,000 if he's saving 100 to 150 pounds per month. That is a massive difference. And for a while, for a couple of years, this person over here may look more successful. They've got the house, they've got the car, but they're not actually getting ahead because, renting, they're just kind of spending their money. They're not actually building equity in anything. They're buying a car, which they're financing, and it's going down in value. Whereas this person, yes, he's living at home. He's driving kind of a beat up car and he's living with his parents. But he is actually saving for a house, which 1 is going to get him ahead when he buys it, and 2, he's already investing for his future. And when you start to get to 27, 28, 29, start thinking about having a family, start thinking about having kids, that is the point when I think it gets really hard to save. I understand if you're a family, you have 2 kids, you're 30, you're renting a house, that seems like a really hard position to squeeze money into savings. But in your 20s, I think it's possibly the easiest time, even though you have the lowest earnings of your career, to actually save and put money away. Last but not least, we have small daily spending. Now, I did put in the thumbnail about Starbucks coffee there, and I do not think that buying the occasional Starbucks is going to ruin you financially, and I don't really think that's the reason why anyone can't afford a house. However, if you're going out there and you're buying a £5 Starbucks every morning, a £5 breakfast, and you're spending £15 at lunch, that's £25 per day. Over the course of a working month, that is £500 if you do that every working day. That is a significant amount of money that will stop you from being able to purchase a house or invest. If you just simply made your lunch at home and brought a coffee with you, it's not going to change the quality of your life very much, and it will massively benefit you in your future and allow you to save and invest for the things that you want and really need. Now, it doesn't seem like much. You might not even realize you're spending it. But if you sit down and go through your bank statement and categorize each of your expenses, those £7, £4, £12 charges all add up. And I bet you when you look at it, it'll shock you in some part of your budget, a category that you're spending more on than you think. If you want a free budget sheet so that you can do this on your expenses, go ahead and download my free budget sheet down below in the description. It allows you to input all your transactions and categorize them so that you can see exactly where your money is going each month. So overall, I really think that you should cut back on the things that aren't bringing you joy and value. Really evaluate where your money is going and where you're spending it. And ultimately, the only rule in personal finance that really matters is spend less than you make and invest the rest. If you do that, you'll be set up pretty good.